Jill Halfpenny. She's no stranger to playing a host of iconic characters, but behind the scenes, Jill has often felt overwhelmed with grief after the death of her dad when she was 4 years old, and more recently, the death of her partner, Matt. And now she's opened up about her experiences of grief in a new book. So please give a huge round of applause for the utterly fabulous Jill Halfpenny.
Look at you two.
What I mean?
What did she say?
Married is I, my lord. Aye, sir.
You two go way back, don't you?
We do.
Biker Grove.
Yeah.
Jill, Ant and Dec, Donna Eyre were all 12, and they used to. But the
And you were like 15.
No, I was about 20 or 30. That's the difference. And when the chaperones were busy and the tutors, I would help them with their maths, and Ant and Dec said that's why they failed all their exams.
Rubbish. Denise would help me with my Shakespeare.
I would, That's why I hate it now. Oh, my God.
Now, Jill, you've done this incredible book. I'm going to hold it up so you can see it on camera there. It is called A Life Reimagined. And this is about your own grief, dealing with your own grief, and advice to others about how they can more successfully handle their grief. It's such an incredible book and such a fascinating subject. But why did you decide to put pen to paper and write about it?
I think probably all of us on this panel will know what it feels like to experience some kind of loss. And it's such an overwhelming feeling. It was such a scary feeling for me that once I'd gone through it the second time after losing my partner, I started to really do a deep dive into how can I make this in some way bearable for myself. And then once I'd kind of walked through it and sort of made friends with the pain almost, I was like, right, I'm going to write down everything that I've learned. So I'm going to like a grief guide, like a manual to just help, just simple steps to help people manage what can feel like the unbearable.
We're so used to running away from pain, aren't we? Like, whether we run or we eat too much, drink too much, whatever, to anaesthetise it. But it just... if you do that, it comes back to bite you, doesn't it?
Bigger, scarier. You know, it's like the monster in the cupboard. You hold the door shut, but actually it just gets stronger and stronger. So you're absolutely right. Like, getting comfortable with being uncomfortable, I think, is the key to just life in general.
And I think my husband, his dad went out for a run when Lincoln was 14 and never came back. And he hadn't realised that what he's had over the years, in a way, is abandonment issues. And I think, because your dad died, you were 4, so you probably haven't got extreme menus, but what you remember is that he just never came home. And with Matt, I knew Matt, we all thought he was a fit and healthy guy. And then he went to the gym and he never came back.
Yeah, so it makes you feel really scared about...
vulnerable.
Oh, things can just change. Things can change in an instant. And now I feel like almost like a newborn baby, like I have to remember the world and how I operate in it. It sounds strange, but that's what I felt like, so vulnerable and so exposed. But
what do you do with the pain then when it comes up? Because there could be somebody sitting now watching and saying, well, actually, I don't want to feel this because I won't know what to do. What do you do with those feelings?
So if somebody's feeling like that, I know it's counterintuitive, but I would say make friends with it. Like, I know this sounds a bit maybe cheesy, but I literally decided to make friends with my grief. I would literally talk to that part of myself and I'd say, you're here with me today, you're on me, I can feel you, but I got to go to work today. So if you just stay beside me, I promise I won't ignore you. And tonight, tonight I'm going to talk to you. Do you?
I talk to my depression like that.
It's like CBT, isn't it?
It's like, bear with me. I'm not going to push you away. I'm not going to ignore you. But I just got to get on with something. And I promise you tonight I will give you attention. Because that's all it's asking of us. It's just it wants attention.
Do you think your sobriety has helped you deal with things?
So much. So much, because the clarity and also... in sobriety, that is the message. Don't run away. If you run away, it will run faster. It will grow bigger. So don't just say, you know what? Come on then, I'll walk alongside with you. I'll walk alongside with you. I will teach you something and you will teach me something.
Embracing it, isn't it? And
yeah.
that's what I try to feel with it. And I think it's so interesting because, you know, I think with my own issues when it comes to grief and so much people is going through so much heartbreak, reading that, you know, you was 4 and then actually reading that, you know, you've had a son at the time when your partner passed away and you had to, because you didn't really have that conversation with your family when you was 4, you took the decision to have the conversation with your son, what happened. What advice would you give to any parent that maybe is going through that, where they've lost a parent and a child, you know?
So what I would try and do, what I try to do is I'd say, you know, this would be an example. I'd say, Harvey, today has been really tricky for me. I just don't think I've got the energy to, like, cook tonight. Can we go out for some food instead? Do you mind if we go down the road to the cafe? Because that's all I've got today. Or at the weekend, Harvey, I'm really struggling. We can go to the park, but just so you know, like, I love you so much. This is not about you. But just today, like, I'm running on 50%.
So being honest with
being honest.
And
When
you was
you
honest with him when it first happened, isn't it?
It's so opposite, I think, to what we're used to being told about dealing with grief when you've got kids, especially sort of 20, 30 years ago. It's sort of, rather than treating them like children, treat them as someone who's also going through grief as well.
Yeah, because I'd experienced growing up with everything's fine.
I think that's more scary.
Let's just not talk
so
about it.
Up on it, and then they're frightened
because
what
you
you're
stop
up.
trusting yourself. You go, my mum and they say they're all right, but somehow my stomach feels nervous.
And for anybody interested in asking Jill any questions, you've got a podcast now, Dear Jill.
Yes, so that all came from the book and people coming and asking me questions, and I thought, right, well, the best way to do this. So
they do a voice note to you, don't they?
It's called Dear Jill, and you can voice note. It's at Dear Jill Podcast on Instagram, and you can call in with any problem you want and try and help and sort it out. Because I actually think just listen, like this show, just listening to your what you've been through.
You're not saying you have all the answers. You're just giving your opinion.
Yeah, exactly.
And other ways that we can hear is watch you, because you are absolutely phenomenal actor. And what have you got coming up?
So I've got a show coming out called The Feud.
Yeah, look forward to it.
Yeah, which is coming out on Channel 5, which is a thriller, which we filmed in Newcastle.
Did you?
It was so nice. I was filming, like, at home. It was really lovely,
And 20 years since Strictly.
Oh, I know.
Unbelievable. The best jive ever, they say, don't they?
I have to say, Jill, Judy's doing very good at not overly fangirling, but she was so utterly excited.
Literally.
At the prospect of sitting next to
nice.
It's just crazy, because I was talking about you, like, last year, just, like, me and someone was talking about it, was just like, oh, my God, you're just so fantastic. So all what you're doing, the book, the podcast, it's
it's fantastic.
Thank you so much.